Thunderfoot once quipped that the internet is where God comes to die. I think I've got him right, but I might not exactly have the quote correct, but something along those lines. I presume he was referring to the anarchic and relentless culture of free speech that exists on the net, where just about everything is held up to scrutiny, to questioning, to relentless reasoning, and ultimately to ridicule and vilification. And ideas like God, if they're not carefully thought through, unfortunately can be vulnerable to that sort of attack. But I don't think that that's the entire picture, because the same sort of reasoning that we've applied to concepts like God must, in all honesty, be applied to science itself. I've already spoken about consciousness and how I haven't really discovered, and I don't think anyone has satisfied me with their discovery as to how our consciousness is linked to the phenomenal world. We don't know. Cogito ergo sum, but that's about it. So we don't know what death is. We don't know what pre-life is. It's unclear to us. I've spoken about the laws of physics and how we don't understand the fundamental nature of the laws of physics. I use the example of gravity. Why is gravity gravity? Why does it work the way it works? One could apply that kind of reasoning or questioning to anything. Time. Okay, in a few hours I have to be at work. Okay, so I assume that there is such a thing as an hour, but time goes on infinitely. Or if it does stop at some point, what happens after that? The same thing with space. Step outside on a clear night and look up. What do you see? Well, the sky. Well, what? Just keep looking. Look past that and keep going. Well, that goes on forever as far as we know. And if it does stop at some point, what's after that? We don't know. Numbers, there's no number that can't be doubled. There's no number that can't be halved. What does that say about our concepts like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? You can't have a finite piece of something that is infinite in both directions. Inevitably and invariably, all of our certainties, all of our scientific building blocks cease to make sense. Space, time, everything eventually goes off the scale. Now, a lot of people have said that I'm using this, or I think that they might have perceived that I'm using this as a reason towards theism, because my understanding is some theists seem to use this kind of reasoning towards a belief in God. I think that might be a little bit tricky, but what I think it is such points of view are useful for is to guard against the arrogance that comes with an oversubscription, an overabundance of belief in one particular point of view. If you believe too strongly in science, then it blinds you to your own arrogance. If you believe too strongly in God, you are blinded to your own arrogance, because it just seems so obvious that anyone who's trying to refute this is just a blasphemer, a heretic, somebody who really should know better, but they've decided to ignore reality. So ultimately, both sides are guilty of this kind of thing. I don't think that being a scientific-minded person, or a person who blindly accepts science, I'll put it that way, is any smarter than somebody who blindly accepts religion. Both are making certain errors, and both are boxing in their thinking. Now, Nietzsche said, in one of my favorite quotes of his, there's quite a few that I like of Friedrich Nietzsche, but he said, "Be careful when you stare into an abyss. Remember, when you do that, that abyss is staring right back into you." What do you do at that point when you're looking at the gigantic question mark? When everything has been sort of stripped away and you're now looking at reality in all its nakedness? Some people are quite cool with that, are quite okay with it. I would say that people of honest religious bent are fine, and people who have actually been questioning science or questioning everything and have developed the habit of mind of infinite curiosity and infinite questioning aren't frightened by that abyss staring back into them. But some people are, and blasphemy and heresy are by no means confined to the religious. Thank you.